A hive city is not just a large settlement, it is a planetary organ, a massive self-contained ecosystem of industry, population, and misery that exists for one purpose: to produce. The atmosphere outside is toxic. The wastelands can kill you within hours. For most people born inside a hive, the hive is the entire world. They will never leave it. They will never even see most of it. Hive Primus is the biggest hive on Necromunda, and inside it, there are layers. And the layer you're born into determines virtually everything about your life. Think of it as a society wearing its class system as architecture. So let's go through the layers of Hive Primus, top to bottom, and look at exactly who lives where. The Spire, heaven for the few. At the very top, 10 miles up, above the cloud layer, sits the Spire. The air is clean enough to breathe without a mask up here. Sunlight actually touches the ground. On Necromunda, that alone makes you one of the luckiest people on the entire planet. By 41st millennium standards, life in the Spire is almost civilized. But don't mistake comfort for safety. The Spire is a knife fight in evening wear. House Helmore rules from the top, surrounded by 6 other great noble houses, each controlling its own slice of Spire territory, and scheming against the others constantly. Assassination, economic sabotage, arranged marriages designed as traps. Some noble heirs are eventually sent down into the Underhive as Spirers, hunting gangers and monsters as a twisted rite of passage, because the Spire itself never offers enough danger to actually prove anything. The Spire looks down on everything below it, literally and philosophically, and would rather pretend the rest of the hive simply does not exist. The upper hive, the middle ground, below the Spire, behind heavy gateways and guards that decide who's allowed to cross in either direction, lies the upper hive. Bureaucrats, manufactorum managers, the people who keep the actual machinery of the hive running day to day. Life here is hard, but structured. A job, a hab block, rations, purpose. The upper hive is where imperial ideology runs strongest. Citizens here believe in the Imperium, fear its enemies, and enforce social order with a desperate energy because they know exactly what's below them. The Adeptus Arbites maintain their precincts here. They don't police individuals. They police populations. Their job is not justice. Their job is order. People here genuinely believe they've earned their position. Most never question the system, because compared to everything below them, the system appears to actually work. Most of them will spend their entire careers in this exact section, inheriting a desk or a clipboard, the same way someone 2 levels down inherits a manufactorum line. And here's the part that's almost never said out loud. A gang war breaking out in the Underhive right now can decide who holds real power in the Spire, without a single person actually fighting that war ever knowing why. Hive City proper, where the city forgets you exist. This is the bulk of Hive Primus, 5 miles of manufactorum zones and hab blocks, where most of the planet's billions actually live. This is where the goods get made. Life here is hard, structured, and largely invisible to everyone above. People work the same manufactorum lines for entire careers. Families pass down jobs the way other places pass down property, because in a hive city, a guaranteed job is closer to inheritance than any actual house could ever be. Kids grow up here who will never see the sun, going to Scala classes that exist mainly to teach them the Imperial Creed and enough literacy to read a work order. People marry inside their own manufactorum block because that's who they ever meet. Sundays, if they get them, mean a sermon and whatever food the week's wages stretched to. Most people here will never see sunlight. Many will die within a few miles of the room they were born in. Most will never breathe air that hasn't been filtered first. And for almost all of them, this isn't a tragedy they think about daily. It's just what a normal life looks like, because it's the only one they've ever seen. The Underhive, where the city forgets itself. Now we leave the city that still pretends to be civilized, down past the manufactorums, down into the Underhive. A lawless maze of collapsed hab blocks, flooded tunnels, rusted gangways, and forgotten vaults. Gangs are the power structure here. Goliath, Escher, Van Saar, Kodor, Delak, Orlok, controlling territory, water stills, black market routes, contraband. This is where that gang war from earlier actually plays out. The Spire can't fight directly. Fighting directly would break the Oath Nobilis, the agreement that keeps the great houses from open war with each other. So instead, house money flows down into Underhive gang wars, funding one gang against another, and the people doing the actual dying have no idea they're fighting somebody else's argument, miles above their heads, between families they'll never meet and could never name. Life is short down here. Violence is currency. But there is a brutal autonomy in the Underhive that the Upper Hive will never understand, because no one powerful enough to enforce real order has ever survived down here long enough to try. The Sump, the bottom of everything. Below the Underhive lies the Sump, where the city's waste collects. Every drop of chemical runoff, every byproduct of 10,000 years of industry. The liquid down here is not water. It is a toxic cocktail, so complex that Mechanicus chemists have stopped trying to catalog it. Almost nothing survives in the Sump. Almost. Mutants, scavengers, creatures adapted over generations to breathe fumes and drink filth. There are entire tribes living down here who have never seen the Underhive above them, let alone the Spire. Surviving off whatever floats up from the toxic waters, and whatever scavenger expeditions manage to drag back from the deeper, darker stretches nobody's fully mapped. Nobody goes to the Sump willingly. Those who do are either desperate beyond reason, or hunting something that can only be found at the very bottom of the world. Here is the truth that every layer of Hive Primus whispers to everyone born inside it. Work hard. Stay loyal. Things can get better. For someone in the Upper Hive, that's mostly true, slowly, generationally. Sometimes, for someone in Hive City proper, it's true just often enough that nobody fully gives up on it. For someone in the Underhive, it's barely true at all. But the gangs sell their own version of it anyway, climb the ranks, take territory, become someone. And yet, billions of people live full lives inside this structure anyway. They fall in love in the Underhive. They tell stories by the light of reclamation fires. They form gangs and families and cults and communities in a place that was never built with any of that in mind. The Hive doesn't need everyone to actually move up. It just needs enough people to believe they might. That's not a flaw in how Hive Primus was built. That's the design working exactly as intended. So, which layer of Hive Primus do you actually think you'd survive in? Spire Noble, Upper Hive Enforcer, Underhive Ganger, or something worse, down in the Sump?